May all who seek rest first seek him and hear his word on the mountain of God. Hey everybody, I hope you're having a blessed day. Just wanted to share with you guys an article. I actually knew about this article for a few months now, but I didn't have a YouTube channel a few months ago, so I'm taking the first chance I have to really spread the word about this stuff. As you can see, this is a Newsweek article, very reputable source, and the headline: U.S. Witches hex Brett Kavanaugh hope to cause suffering to GOP and Donald Trump. Now, I never considered myself one of those types of Christians, and I'm sure you know what I mean. You probably know exactly what I mean. You probably thought of a few people in your mind as I said that. But I'm not that old, and I can honestly say that nothing like this has ever happened during the time I was growing up, during the time I was in high school, or the few years since I've been out of high school. Witches causing hexes on the president. Like, this is the leader of our country. So no matter what disagreement you might have with him or any news quote you might not agree with, like, this guy is in charge of the well-being of America. So you would think that you would be in his boat because he's literally at the head of our boat. But let's get into the article. I'll start with the video so you can really get the gist of what's going on here. I think it's despicable personally, but you can make your own opinions here. Here you go. I'll make it full screen for you guys. But just look at it. I haven't watched the video myself, so this is new to me too. But I did read the article, and I will tell you this: I was disgusted. Voodoo dolls, white candles, the little witchy circles, carving his name into a black candle, dousing it in revenge oil, and then setting it on fire, of course, icing on the cake. An act of resistance and resilience. Called it a ceremony, like it's a wedding or something. And they're clapping. These people are insane. Now, let's get to the bread and butter. In the borough of Brooklyn in New York City, in a small room with chalkboard walls and dark floors, detractors of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh gathered on Saturday to observe and perform a hex in the hope that it will cause him to suffer. If Dakota Brashear, co-owner of Catland Books, where the hex was hosted — take note, people, Catland Books, Brooklyn, New York — could write the headline for the event, it would read as follows: Witches gather to weather storm, take no expletive, and do all harm. If the hex causes suffering and harm and trouble and chaos and mayhem for anyone in the GOP, I'm happy, says Bracchial told Newsweek. So clearly these are, very good people with their head on their shoulders, casting spells on our government and whatnot. But let's go on. As attendees entered a side room of the occult shop, very sketchy, where spell classes and hexes are held, they were met by the centerpiece of the event, an altar designed by Brashear herself. How surprising. Adorning the wooden altar were candles, figurines, antlers, and three effigies: one of President Donald Trump, one of Kavanaugh in expletive face, Mitch McConnell, to use Bracchial's own words. So clearly this is a lovely lady. Outside, Christian protesters chanted Bible verses and urged non-believers to come to Jesus and turn away from wickedness. Instead, the group's collective Om attempted to drown out the prominent Christian voices for the ritual's opening prayer. Bracchiel called to the gods for protection because the most vulnerable among us are under threat, and asked for aid in bringing down quote unquote evil men. Fosters within us bravery and cloak us in armor as we face an enemy who seems insurmountable. Brashear continued over the hum of the room. Keep us safe as we work against a terrible machine. So it is and so it will be. Throughout the ritual, Brachial invited attendees to participate, making sure to clarify that they should only do so if they were comfortable in offering the option to Om instead. Psalm 109 was read as a group, which Brachial said was appropriate given that it was used by Christians to denounce former President Barack Obama. Howls, shouts, and foot stomping reverberated against the walls as Brachiel proclaimed, I will have my justice, even if I have to face your jealous God, look him in the eye, and walk backward into hell. Some bold words. Rows of chairs lined the front, back, and side of the room, and attendees were invited up to the altar section by section to write the names of individuals they wished to hex on slips of paper. Just wonderful people. Names were placed in vases and covered with a variety of substances, including graveyard dirt. How did you get that? Pretty sure something illegal was involved. Coffin nails, water from a thunderstorm, and urine. So we have these witches pretty much throwing urine on each other and yelling Bible verses and telling our God that they'll walk into hell backwards. I'm just recapping this to give you just the total sense of the insanity of these people. I mean, it made Newsweek, so and other it was on CNN. I saw it on the New York Post. So, and there's more. This is just the tip of the iceberg. If you watch more of my videos, you will definitely see me exposing this stuff because I feel like more people watch the news than are online reading Newsweek. And my generation, specifically me, I like reading online articles. I like reading. I like seeing the nitty gritty black and white print. I don't want some watered down cookie cutter news channel pretty faced broadcaster forcing ideas down my throat and telling me what I should believe. I want to read it for myself, and if I so choose, then I'll go watch the newscast and come up with my own unbiased opinion. And as of now, my own unbiased opinion is this. These people are absolutely insane, throwing urine around and yelling at people. I mean, but let's continue. I don't want to go out on a tangent. On the night of the dark moon, Brachial will continue, and I know I'm just butchering her name, but Brachial will continue to burn dark candles over the vases every month until justice has been served. Don't hold your breath. And those included in the hex have paid for what they've done. What exactly did they do? But let's continue. During the event, Brachial clanked two wooden blocks together and repeatedly led the chanting of the Latin words written on the chalkboard wall above the altar. Lavatar in nobis sanguis tyrannus. Translated to, we bathe in the blood of the tyrant. The declaration grew louder with each ensuing chorus. The goal of the hex is to cause suffering, such a noble cause. But Brachiel told Newsweek that aside from that, the night would be considered a success if people walk away with the feeling of hope, knowing we can fight tooth and nail and really see this thing through. If attendees come in beat up and leave with a renewed hope and a fire in their belly, probably the fire of hell, then I know I did my job, Brachiel added. As far as Kavanaugh goes, Brachiel explained, there's nothing the justice can do to change the feeling many hold with regard to him having a seat on the Supreme Court. I don't for a second shelter a hope within me that he would ever have some change of heart and become a human being. So, I'll just finish the article. While some have expressed concern that a conservative majority on the Supreme Court could put legislation affecting Roe v. Wade and LGBTQ rights at risk, Brachiel has a larger fear, a stall in progress. For all of you who don't know or don't, follow this legal stuff, I do. I just like it. But Roe versus Wade was the unconstitutional ruling by extremely corrupt Supreme Court justices that allowed abortion. Let me just throw this in there. Abortion is the deep state's way of taking our unborn babies and sacrificing them to the cult of Baal, this ancient cult spoken of in the Bible. I'll do a whole other video on that alone. I know some of you won't believe me, but abortion is murder. There's literally a case going on right now where a guy murdered his daughter, murdered his wife, and murdered his pregnant wife and his unborn child. He was charged with the murder of his daughter, who I think was 6, charged with the murder of his wife, and was charged additionally with the murder of his unborn baby. If it's an unborn baby, based on Roe versus Wade, that should have been an abortion. So based on Roe versus Wade, he should not have been charged for the murder of the unborn child, for the fact that it was unborn, still in the womb. It isn't a life yet, right? According to these Roe versus Wade people. So it was just an abortion. Now, I don't believe this at all. I believe life starts at conception. I believe that babies are alive, and I believe that abortion is not a right of women being able to choose what to do with their bodies, because abortion does not affect their bodies. If abortion affected the body of the abortioner, then they would be the ones that die, not the babies. So I completely agree that guy should have went down for the triple murder, throw the book at him. They gave him life. I think he should have gotten worse for what he did. But it's just the double standard and the hypocrisy of all behind this Roe versus Wade. But I went off. Let me continue. I would feel better if they just showed their true colors and were hardcore extremists. But if they do play the middle way, it actually could be more harmful to any future progress people are trying to make. Brachio's looking forward to the midterm with the hope that the Democrats will take back the majority and have the chance to investigate the Supreme Court justice's financial history, his possible connection to Russia, and potential that he's a political operative. I think that's what we want to have exposed, Brachio said. Not just that he's a total creep, unlike these people, chanting hexes and throwing urine on each other, but not just that he's a total creep and a sham of a human being, but that he does not, by rights, actually deserve and is inherently ineligible for the seat that he has on the bench. I had no idea that she was qualified to make those shots. Person who chants and throws urine on chalkboards, I don't want them making any decisions as far as our government is concerned. If I met these people, I'd be pretty sketched out. Just look at this picture. I'm gonna leave it here while I, make my closing statement, just to let the gravity of what's going on sink in. They got coffin nails and graveyard dirt, little witchy circles, and little. I don't even want to know what these symbols mean. But look, they got the faces. Like, this is flat out witchcraft. And the point of this article is, and I literally beg you people, please, 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 look into this stuff. And I know I probably sound a little bit extreme, but I'm just so passionate about the evil and the corruption going on in this world. Somebody has to speak out about this stuff. And I applaud the Christians who stood up and said this is wrong, and they responded with the best way they knew how, and I completely respect that. But as far as the people who, don't swing either way, left or right, I'm not a witch who throws urine, or I'm not a Christian who will go and chant Bible verses at these people. But for the average American out there, I don't think that you would think this is normal. I mean, our founding fathers, if you would allow me to go back that far, actually burned witches at the Salem witch trials, whether it was true or not. I won't get into that, but the point I'm trying to make is they saw this stuff, it was around in their time, and they thought it was a big enough threat to act on. These people weren't crazy guys. You can't have this huge mass hanging or burn a witch at the stake without the governor or the town leaders involved. So clearly these were respected people who were put in charge of things, who allowed this stuff. Let's not think that these people who did it back in the Salem witch trials were so ridiculous. Wouldn't it be better to assume that the people throwing urine, getting graveyard dart, and putting coffin nails inside candles, aren't these people the weird ones? I mean, isn't this somehow wrong? Doesn't this just somehow make you feel that, I don't even know. Like, when I read this, I was just like, what is going on with the world? Witches and hexes and Donald Trump, oh my. You know, I'll just stop it there. God bless you and your families. I just felt like I had to tell somebody this.